Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Paradigm Woods and Irons from Callaway.
Great to have Stewart Cink with us. He's getting ready to play in Las Vegas. I imagine dealing with some jet lag. I'm sure there were some great memories in Rome, a lot of bonding. But Stewart, how much does the loss still sting?
Well, it stings, obviously. I wouldn't change one thing about the whole experience except for the final result, to be honest. It was an amazing experience. I love serving for Zach and for the United States team and all the players and even the wives and girlfriends. It was just incredible. So there are no real answers to what happened, but it's just one of those things when you put two teams on the field that are so closely matched and everybody's amped up that somebody's going to kill and somebody's going to get killed. And in this case, unfortunately, we came up on the wrong end.
Stuart, you've played on 5 teams, so you've been asked this question often enough, I guess, as a player. Now you get asked it as a vice captain. What would or should the United States team or Zach or you as a vice captain, what should you have done differently, or could you have done anything differently?
I don't know that you could go back and do anything different. And, of course, we have the benefit of hindsight. So I feel like our pairings were really good going into the week, and we got steamrolled on Friday where we had what I thought was like our best lineups out there on both Friday morning and afternoon. And I think the other assistant captains and Zach would also agree with that we looked great and we felt great. The players wanted to play with each other. They were all playing great and just getting along like it was like a fraternity over there, just like everybody was so tight. And that's not something you see every time in a cup. And they just they were a little flat, and the Europeans were just on top of everything and played great. I watched Victor play all but one of his matches, and I watched Ludwig Aubert play his matches and Rahm, and it was just astonishing. They played really, really well and even outperformed their normal baselines, which is hard to do. And but that's what you got to do to win the Ryder Cup. You know, you got to show up and really be ready to go. And you know, who knows? There's probably some factors. Us going over there, you know, maybe the time change caught up with us a little bit. It's hard to assess that really, but all in all, our team was a really good team, and they just didn't quite play well on Friday morning and got thrown for a loop, and I think that affected Friday afternoon too. And there was some heroics on the other side, and it was a great experience. Like I said, I hate losing, and I know everybody's disappointed for that, but I just don't know that we can really go about second guessing Zach and his decisions. It was solid all the way through. Just didn't happen on the field.
You know, there was a time when we thought that the Americans didn't get along well enough. 12 players, 12 caps. Now it's buddy. Maybe they're too close together. What are your thoughts on where the American team sits from a philosophical standpoint?
That's a great question, and I've heard both sides of it for a long time. But I mean, which one are we going to argue? Do we need more or less of camaraderie and chemistry in the team room? I don't really know where to go with that. One thing I can definitely say is that it was 13 years between my last playing Ryder Cup in 2010 and this one where I was vice captain for Zach. In 13 years, I've seen the team room change quite a lot, where just like out here every week, like at the Shriners here in Vegas, golf has become a profession, and the guys and gals that play golf treat it like a profession and like a job. And it's no different when they go to an event like the Ryder Cup. There's cold plunges, there's workouts, there's table treatments, there's diet, restrictions, or they're professionals, and they have to have the freedom to be able to move about in that kind of space. And so what ends up happening is the team room atmosphere kind of starts to dwindle a little bit, and I'm sure the other side would feel the same way. And but our guys, when we were together for our dinners and on the rides to the golf course and at the golf course, it was so close. I mean, you could put a table for 4 out there in the middle of the room, and all 12 of them would huddle up around it and like sit shoulder to shoulder, just like giggling with each other. It was really great to see, and I certainly don't think that had any impact whatsoever on the golf course at all. I know that those guys wanted to play with each other. There was a lot of green lights, and look, they just were not able to execute in the first round of the tournament. It got us in a hole, and you just can't dig out of a hole when the other team is smelling blood and playing so well.
Stewart, you said it's sort of a job and they take it in a very professional manner, and of course we all expect to be paid for the jobs that we do, and that became a noisy conversation around the Ryder Cup. And in fairness, it wasn't just a Rome conversation. This is a conversation that's gone on for 25 years around the Ryder Cup. Where do you fall on that question? As a player for you, was the charitable contribution made in your name sufficient, or do you think there's a valid argument to be made that these guys ought to be paid for the time they put in?
No, I don't think that the Ryder Cup should be paying players. I mean, I think it's I don't think the Olympics pays anyone to play. I mean, I may be wrong about that. I don't know, but I have a feeling that anytime you represent your country and you get the privilege and honor of joining a team that's doing the same, that it's probably not a pay situation. That we get paid enough during the year, and being on the team at the Ryder Cup has its own, how do you say, maybe indirect payments that you're going to receive down the road. A lot of contracts are structured where there's some Ryder Cup membership bonuses and stuff like that. So I don't think we need to get paid directly for playing in the Ryder Cup. I really don't. And I don't think most players think that either. I just think that everybody does see things a little bit differently, and then you've got the team around the players that sees things a little bit differently. But in my case, it's not something we should be paid for. And our charity definitely benefits in a big way from membership on a team like that. And even as a vice captain, my charity is going to benefit somewhat. And it's a great thing that they do. But to get paid to play in the Ryder Cup, I just don't think that's an issue that really needs to come to fruition.
You were shoulder to shoulder with Zach Johnson. You saw the highs, the lows. The conventional wisdom says it's Tiger's job if he wants it in 2025. Do you want to be U.S. Ryder Cup captain?
I do, and after serving as vice captain, I do even more. I just got a taste of it, and I just I can't get that loop out of my mind. Going back and trying to reconsider things that we could have done differently, and I can't find much, but I really want to, and I would love to have a crack at trying to captain a team. And it's just something I think a lot of golfers, most everybody out here, would probably jump at the chance to do. And after being a part of it in that way, in Rome, I think it's definitely something that's taken a center place in my heart, and I want to do it.
I think this was, for me, it was very different from the first one. I feel like the first one was more, okay, I've achieved my long-time dream, and the second one was, okay, I can do it again. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to defend my first one, but to be able to come back and defend my second one at least, it's exciting. I can't wait for Thursday to come, and I'm really excited.
Expectations get set really high when you win twice at such a young age on the PGA Tour. You started working with Chris over the summer. You've had a really nice second half of the year. How have you been refining your game to what we've seen the last 4 or 5 months?
I've learned a lot this year, and I feel like adjusting to new golf courses was a lot to do with it. I really didn't feel like I wasn't in my best form, and I needed to feel like I wanted something different. I've learned so much from everyone, and transition to Chris has helped out a lot for me. And just technically, I feel like I understand a lot more about myself now, and he's explained to me a lot of things. So it's cool to see, and it's working. It's been working really well, and I've been playing really well at the last end of the season. So it's really cool to see, and I'm excited to see what the future holds.